Vegas, Nevada, the city that lives by night, and on the strip at Caesar's Palace. Tonight, a big card of boxing. 2 championships at stake. Remember that day, June 9, 1978, the same place, right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. A fight that became one of the memorable heavyweight fights in boxing history for the world heavyweight title, WBC version. Larry Holmes against Kenny Norton, and Holmes had dominated the early rounds with ease. Norton came on late. Unaccountably, the judges said the winner of this round would be the winner of the fight, and Norton seemed to have won this round easily up until the waning seconds when Larry Holmes made a comeback with that kind of punching. And so, when it came down to the final decision, it was given to Larry Holmes, who became the winner and the new WBC heavyweight champion. And so, tonight, Larry Holmes will have a new opponent to go against. An opponent who was born in Montevideo, Uruguay, a Spanish resident. Larry Holmes right there, going against the European heavyweight champion, Alfredo Evangelista, in defense of the WBC World Heavyweight Championship. On the same card, a scheduled 10-rounder. Kenny Norton on the comeback trail against a tough young fighter, good enough to have defeated recently and impressively Stan Ward, Randy Stevens. And then the super featherweight champion, Alexis Arguello of Nicaragua, a young man who seems to have razor blades in his gloves, going against a world-ranked Mexican, now an American resident, Arturo Leon, who may have the style to trouble Arguello. They meet for the WBC Super Featherweight crown. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you. This is a scheduled 10-round heavyweight bout. As you look at the veteran Kenny Norton, who has had 45 fights, 140 lost. Randy Stevens, the 25-year-old opponent, who's come on impressively of late. He knocked out Tommy Prater in the second. A good fighter. The bell for round 1 will fill you in on the rest of the rules as we go. You're familiar with Kenny Norton's style. Stevens is a boxer. Norton lags that back foot. He's not a fighter with lateral movement. He's been accused of being muscle-bound, but he's been good enough to have given Ali fits 3 times around. He's a quality heavyweight. What he must prove now is that age hasn't overtaken him. Lost to Holmes in that tough fight last June 9th may have taken a lot out of him at his age, which he says is 32 or 33, depending on the mood, but which most presume to be 36. First round action. Norton covered well. Stevens didn't get through Norton's gloves and is having trouble doing so now. Norton in pursuit of Stevens. Just the beginning of things here tonight. 3 hours of boxing, 2 titles at stake. This, now the title fight. Stevens jawed Norton with a good left that got through. This is a big fight for Stevens. If he can beat Kenny Norton, then he's well on his way to becoming a major contender with a title shot not too far, possibly in the off. Complaints of a low blow. Third man in the ring is Harry Krause, veteran official. Been around for years, a good referee. We saw Norton get the left in. We had Harry Krause in Frankfurt, West Germany in '68, the Mildenberger-Bonavina fight. Less than a minute to go in round 1. Down to 40 seconds in the first round. My colleague Keith Jackson here with me at ringside. Stevens trying throughout the round to work the left. He got one in strongly and well. But Norton with the right has caused a little puff under Stevens' left guard. Good left. Coming to the end of round one. Norton in pursuit of Stevens. We're back live here in Las Vegas, second round. Heavyweight fight, scheduled 10-rounder. Kenny Norton. To the right of your screen, young Randy Stevens in the red trunks. Norton, the pursuer in the first round. In my book, it keeps... Oh! Stevens in trouble and holding on. Norton slugging away. Kenny Norton trying to prove that he is far from too old. He wants to clean this kid up in a hurry if he can. And if he wins this fight, doubtless the next opponent will be Ernie Shavers. As Norton quests for another shot at the title. A good left by Norton got in there. Stevens fighting back, showing an ability to take the punch. Now the crowd loves it as they flail away at one another. Stevens took some of Norton's best shots. And while he was staggered and while it appeared he might go down, he did not. And he came back with his own combinations. Stevens got the left in there. But if Stevens wants to fight with Norton, he's going to have to show, it seems to me, a lot more movement than he has. Kenny can work over an opponent who doesn't move. Remember how Larry Holmes fought Norton. Side to side, lateral movement throughout the fight.
I think, too, that Kenny Norton might have been stung some by the criticism that he started so slowly against Larry Holmes and may well have cost him that fight.
That's what he said to me, you'll remember, Keith, right after the bout. He said, I started too late. I think, in fact, Holmes just moved him too well with the left jab. But right now, Norton is not starting late, and he's shown the ability to kill off an opponent in the first round as he did against Wayne Bobbitt in the Garden in New York. Second round action, and it's been a round with a lot of action. Norton measuring Stevens, and Stevens coming back with a good left to cut the crowd roused. Stevens, a gutsy kid. 14 fights he's had. He's won 10 of them. He's been knocked out once by Bernardo Mercado in the second round, but that was on April 29th of 1977. Norton after the kid now. Back and forth they go. We've got about 30 seconds left in this, the second round, and it's been a caught.
Double right hand, kid. Work, Randy.
What's that left hand behind the neck now?
Double right hand.
Duke Slayton, Norton's trainer and friend, just yelled up to Kenny, double right hand, Ken, double right hand, double up on the right, which Stevens has been vulnerable to. We're back live at Las Vegas at ringside in what has been an action-packed fight thus far. Scheduled 10-rounder, Kenny Norton to the left, and now with his back toward you, Randy Stevens. Kenny Norton has started fast tonight. By our accounts, he's won the first 2 rounds. Stevens has shown he's got a good left, and he's shown he can take a punch. Norton tried to measure him and put him away in the second round. For a moment, it appeared he might, but the kid never even went down. What we'll have to look for now is whether Norton shows signs of fatigue midway during the fight. This is third round action. My colleague at ringside, Keith Jackson, he'll be calling the Arguello Leon fight for you.
I am really surprised, Howard, that Stevens is not moving more, though. I just can't imagine that their game plan was to come out and trade with Kenny Norton.
Look at that! The kid came through there with a combination, and the left looks very, very good. But Norton came right back. Norton's left has been criticized. Originally and early in his career, they said all he had was a left and no right. Now they say he's got the right. He is really trying to measure Stevens, and you see him leveling blows. He goes down to the body. He knows how to work an opponent over. Then when the guard goes down to cover for the body, he moves up. He beat Jimmy Young here a year ago this month with that very tactic. Did you see Norton looking over at Duke Slayton, getting instructions? Slayton wanting him to double up on that right, as I said in round 2. Because Stevens drops the left and leaves himself vulnerable to the right. Now Stevens swinging, but Norton covering. Stevens not getting through the Norton gloves on that occasion. We've got a minute left in the 3rd round, and we're getting a lot more action, frankly, than we expected. This is the kid's opportunity, Randy Stevens, and he wants to make the most of it. Look at Norton with that uppercut. First the left, then the chopping right, then the uppercut, and another uppercut as they broke. Stevens missing there. Ooh, that left staggered him. He's ready to go. Down he went. The left corner. Yes, indeed, Kenny Norton has a left, and he is under the bottom strand of the rope. He is struggling to get up. Kenny Norton starting quickly tonight. And that's it. This fight is over. This fight is over. Kenny Norton has knocked out his opponent with a stunning left. The kid not ready for a fighter of Norton's quality. And as we had gone into this fight, the wise guys, the know-it-alls were saying the fight to look for is Stevens to upset Norton. Take a look at that knockout of Randy Stevens by Kenny Norton. He led with the left. Norton burrowed the head in, then a chopping right by Stevens scored, then a left missed. Now,
2 seconds of the 5th round.
right to the body. That left, that was it. Notice the right of Stevens was down. He had been throwing punches, he dropped his guard. Now, Norton is up in the ring. Here's another angle of that punishing left that finished Randy Stevens. Yes, indeed, Mr. Norton has a left.
Has to be impressive to come out that fast and be so decisive against all that youth. 10 years is a lot of years. When you're in your 30s and the young man you're taking on is in his early 20s. But certainly Kenny Norton proves that he is still sharp, still ready, and available certainly for the next step in his career.